All right. Sorry, everybody. I was putting my Gatorade down, but welcome everybody to, I believe, our ninth typing session. Um, I'm joined here today by.
Giancarlo.
Mhm.
Hi.
Hello. And this
Hello.
is very exciting because not only is this, I think, our second video-to-video typing session, the first one being Penny, but this is also Giancarlo here is going to get a typing session, a tarot reading, and then I will give him a sort of like personalized ID card-like thing that I will put all of that in the link down below as well as my server link, so please join there for more information. But Giancarlo will be the first of the official typing, so you got your place in. That's awesome. Are you ready to start the typing?
Yes, I am.
All right, cool. All right, so let me put you down. Okay, so Giancarlo. How do you spell that again? It's G-I-A.
With a G. Giancarlo.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Oop, I forgot to put the. Or no, we'll edit that in later. Actually, because somebody suggested to do what I normally hit. Whatever. Um. All right. So how old are you, Giancarlo?
I'm 21.
21 years old. Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. 21. And I guess I'll start off by asking, what do you do currently in both academic wise, work wise, or just anything really?
So currently, I'm living in San Diego, California. I'm working as a sales photographer, and I just finished my semester at a community college taking art classes, art studio classes for my art degree, which are over to my 4 year. So because I'm gonna transfer those classes from my community college to my 4 years university, but I'm taking them here at home in Southern California as opposed to the Bay Area because I go to university in the Bay Area because it's cheaper and I'm low income.
Okay.
And I'm working as a sales photographer on the side as well, which is a great job because like depending on how many sales you make, selling photographies to people, um, you can get more paid even higher. Like that's what determines how much you get paid over the minimum wage, which is 16.5, and then it adds up. As depending on how much you sell.
For sure. I do, and I get exactly what you mean too. So I guess that leads me into something I would like to ask you. When you're doing the photography job, what would you say you feel like before and get like if you are about to do the job and you're like, okay, I'm going to take some pictures of stuff, and then afterwards, kind of detail to me exactly what's going through your head in those occurrences.
Okay, it's going to my head is, oh my gosh, I hate working, I hate working, I hate doing things. I don't like to move through the world, but I mean, I like photography when there is something enticing about it, when there's something of interest natural to me. But in this case, it's work, I have to photograph random people. Uh, okay, I'm gonna have to talk to people. People. All right, gotta prepare. And that's what's going to my mind. Sometimes I'm thinking about typology and my own esoteric studies because I do a lot of facial esoteric studies as well, and that's what's going through my mind. I'm going to meet. Uh, it's going to be a new opportunity for learning. I'm going to meet new samples for my own database in my head, and I don't say any of this, but I need to sound professional. I need to put on my Patrick Bateman mask and be like, "Hello, how are you guys doing today? Doing good?" So I'm a photographer, and we're giving out free postcards to all of our guests at the restaurant. And for that, I'll take a photo of you guys. I need to
Yeah,
become American Psycho for a moment, and that's what I tell myself before I do it.
makes sense. In a way, I guess, what would you say your successes with that, like acting in that way, kind of getting ready the getting pumped up to be able to do that? Like, what would you say your success rate is, or do you find any difficulty in this?
My success rate is pretty high, even though it hurts. It's difficult, but it's pretty high. I actually do very well.
Hmm. Okay, let's see. Give me one moment. All right, wonderful. Give me one sec. I'm just typing something. Let's see. Wonderful. So then let's move on to the after. After you've done your job and you can go home and relax or whatever the circumstance may be, how do you feel afterwards?
I feel usually tired. I drive. I mean, I have to drive. Usually, I mean, I go all through that. I travel often to, like anywhere from 17 to 35 minutes away from my home. So I have to just drive back home. I usually put loud music, and I love the driving part, to be honest. Like, because they're like, I mean, I love to drive alone most of the time because I don't get criticized by people for driving like at 85 miles per hour or 80 the fastest lane. I like to drive the fastest lane, and I like to find ways of like just if there's a slow car in front of me, I go to the next one. Like I like to be on the freeway and with loud music, metal like Motley Crue, or I
Yeah.
put like Misfits or like which is more punk, yeah, or something like that.
Okay,
And then
cool.
I get home, yeah,
That makes sense.
and then I get home, and then I'm tired. I say that I want to do art, like because I'm an artist, professional
Hmm.
one, and it's hard to get myself to be productive
Okay, sure. Let me note that down.
because I have to do homework and shit like that or something. There's always something going on, like some FAFSA stuff I need to complete, or some email or some phone call. You know what I mean? Little things like that.
Definitely. But I guess what I will ask is you say it's hard to be productive, but why be productive then? It sounds like you work, you see the merit in doing the photography, but you're also pursuing your education. So what is the reason why?
Because in order for me to be taken seriously by the world as an artist, because I need to have a degree or I need a certain institution to back me up. Otherwise, I'm just a guy who has a pencil and who is just, just putting color on a paper,
Yeah.
like that has no, I need to find, I don't know why, but like I just need to find the connections, artists, being an artist is a career. You need to find the right people that are interested in your work. I do a lot of the self promotion on Instagram, but it's not enough. My reels don't get more than like 500 views. Like I don't get more than like 70 or 65 likes per post, and I don't reach that several thousand likes, and sometimes I see some posts booming like that. So I'm not that great at promoting my own work at
Okay.
all. So that's what I need a degree for. I want to know how to promote my work. I want to be able to sell paintings maybe to restaurants, maybe to like exotic,
Yeah.
like fetish, like clubs, and they can hang them up there. Or, because I paint, I draw, I illustrate, um, and I need a degree so that I can just improve my technique as an artist. Like actually have like experts on the field teach me, what has worked for them in their lives and how they have flourished in a career and in their careers, as artists. Because when you're an artist, it's hard to find a job, and that's kind of a big worry for me. I don't want to be starving artist, even though that's what I easily fall into. So no, that's why I'm getting the degree. So I'm not a starving artist.
Hmm.
And the reason why I am doing the photography job is because I just got the offer when I was on Indeed.
Hmm.
And before that, I was working as a guard. I was working as security, a
Hmm.
minimum
Okay.
wage.
Let's see.
And I just got the offer randomly out of nowhere. And I was like, I want to get out of security. Security sucks. I want to get something that pays me better and that is related to even peripherally to art. So I sign up.
Okay. Let's see. Two. All right, wonderful. So I guess something I did want to touch on, just a little bit less about productivity, and more about you were talking earlier about how you don't like you don't like driving when somebody else is in the car with you. I'm the same way too. I'm the opposite though. I drive really slow, like because I hate getting pulled over and stuff like that. So I hate driving with people like, dude, you're going like 5 miles below the speed limit, chill. And I'm just like, whatever. But what I'd like to ask you is, let's say somebody was in the car with you and they're giving you crap about driving fast, all this, that, and the other. How do these interactions typically go for you?
I usually like tell them like we usually start arguing, and I'm just arguing in the car for several minutes with that person. It's funny because that person is nearby, and yeah, we just argue basically, and I end up doing what I want and driving, and sometimes I yield to them. Like if I'm driving like at 85, they drive slower. I just drive slower so that they shut the fuck up and leave me alone. Like, okay, sure, sure, sure. Even though internally I'm like, I want to drive faster. Uh, uh, uh.
It makes
But like
sense.
my yeah,
The I feel like that's interesting. I guess what I'd like
yeah.
to ask is like, why drive fast?
Oh, because I feel like time is limited, and I don't know. I feel like I'm not productive naturally. Like I kind of want to be home. I kind of wanna go from one place to the other. I kind of looking forward to being there already. I wanna be there already. I don't wanna wait. I wanna be there.
Mhm. Okay. Hmm. This is interesting. Okay, so
It's the
how?
feeling that I get. I want to be there, you know. And so oftentimes I just want to have so many projects that I can't even finish because I don't know. I'm just so my time is limited, and I
Okay.
need to make sure that I use it in the best way possible.
Okay.
Okay.
So I guess I'll ask that then. This is actually the first time I've ever asked this question. I'll probably include it for a lot of the other ones. What is you talking about? Like you always like to be preoccupied with the productive stuff and whatnot. But I'll ask you, what is maybe 1 to 3 projects that you've done, or just things that you've done that would more or less coincide with productivity? What are 3 things that you've done that you're really proud of, and could you detail them to me?
Okay. So today, um, I just went to the gym. I just put on my gear. I went to the gym and I worked out, and then I basically ran 1.5 miles, and then I did some chest press, and then I did like many sets of abs because I want to just keep my physique in like a healthy athletic way. I'm not like I don't have the amount of discipline to aim for, something more like for an Instagram model kind of physique. But I like to have a low percentage of fat in my body, and I also have a lot of anxiety, so I need to eat to. It's kind of like I have an inner void. So, like, if I want to give myself that, like, sort of capricious or or those pleasures, I need to burn them out. Otherwise, I will get fat. You know,
Yes.
and 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 part of my like I think of my image, and part of my career requires me to look attractive, I will say, because I want to be an influencer on YouTube, and apart from an artist, and I will get there eventually, but right now I'm just focusing on getting my degree. And I just need to be attractive. I just need to look my best. I don't know why. If I look unattractive, I'm just not okay with myself, and that's why I need to work out. And so that's what I did. I just put on my gear. I walked to the gym, which is like 5 minutes away from my home. I worked out for like 1.5 hours. I was on the phone sometimes, like in between my breaks, like, and then I came back home, and then I was trying to draw for my portfolio for the art practice major application, but I didn't finish yet. And I'm uh, drawing a wolf eating like um, a rabbit, because it's conceptual art. It's about prey predator fetish. It's about, and I was also like, I want to connect it to like what are my current things that aren't like enticing my mind, like watching Silence of the Lambs or Jeffrey Dahmer, Ed Gein. I have very dark intellectual interests, so I want to all like reflect them in the art. So yeah, it productivity for me is just manifesting whatever my visions are in my paper and making it look, you know, like
Yes.
blank paper, then and then there's something in there. You know, like the artworks that you see here, I made them myself.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So what was the specific drawing? You said it was what eating a what in that, just so I can log it down. But I
wolf eating a rabbit, a wolf eating a rabbit.
let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Eating rabbit. Cool. And then you said, so was that when you drew this? Did you have the idea in mind that you were going to draw this, and specifically it was inspired by, you said it was kind of like the idea of like the predator, prey, prime, whatever, the fetish thing? Was that the idea
Yeah.
and the inspiration before you drew it, or did you kind of see the symbolism?
Yeah, before I drew it, I had that symbolism in mind because I don't know why with my current relationship. I know that like we're too alone here, and I hope that like because in the server there are so many people that are used against LGBT things, and I'm dating another man, and he's like, I don't know what his socionics time might be, but he's very sort of like he's a very touchy feely, affectionate person, and I like to. And he has a lot of flesh on his body. He's a little bit pudgy, but not too much. And I like to touch his flesh, and I like to play with it, and I like to call him fluffy, and I like to put my teeth on it, and I like to say that I want to eat him and consume him, and it's just something. I don't know why I have that. It's just something that I like, and that's I was thinking about like uh that that way in which his essence is very nurturing. He's a caregiver. He likes to take care of like animals. He likes to even the way in which he's like it just it reminds me of like seals being affectionate with one another. Reminds me of like little like he has that herbivore nature, and my nature is more like um coarse and I'm
Yeah.
more I'm more macabre, and he's cute and macabre, and that and in that sense, I was thinking of that. I guess contrast, that stark contrast between us, and that's what drove me into it. And he's also very strong. Actually, he works out and he's better at it than me. He's very strong. Very he has a lot of muscle, but also when he's relaxed, he's very soft. It's it's interesting to me. He's
Okay.
like a gentle giant. I like that term for him. Gentle giant.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Okay.
call him a teddy bear as well. A teddy bear.
Okay. That one, what you just gave me, I think that says a lot about kind of my where I'm gonna lean. I think you're gonna be a very interesting case. I'll be quite on. I hope you're not tired because this might be a long session. I'm really like you're gonna be a tricky case, I think. Um.
Yeah. By the
Hmm.
way, you're echoing.
Oh, am I? Goodness. Okay, try now.
Hello? Something.
We good?
Something.
Oh, hello.
Are you still echoing? Hold on. Let me
Well, I think it'll
rejoin.
be you. I mean, hmm. All right. Hello.
Hello? Yeah. Good, good, good.
Okay. So yeah, I think okay. I understand. No need to even hamper on, but I think I understood what happened. So it's all good now.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. What I was gonna say though is what you gave me there, more or less. I'm like, this is so intriguing because I feel like I'm gonna be proud of this typing because it's really I'm putting the work in here. And that one,
Mm-hmm.
very big lean. Let's see, where do I want to go with this next? Okay. Would you say your life from start to finish, from birth to the age of 21 you are now, would you say your life has changed very much? And would you say that you have changed very much, like relatively speaking? I know everybody goes from young to old, but like you comparatively to your peers.
Me comparatively to my peers,
Hmm.
I mean, since I was a kid, I was always kind of an oddball. I was kind of eccentric and different from the norm. I think that's one of the things that always has stood out the most about me. I always had like very strong intellectual interests, and about, for instance, like I was into astronomy, like with not astrology,
Sure,
astronomy,
like the
like
actual like stuff they would teach in
planets.
class then, yeah. I took
Yeah,
that too in
yeah,
like high school, but yeah.
yeah. And I would just like search up random stars in different galaxies and know which exoplanets I had, because I was kind of obsessed with trying to find a planet that will resemble planet Earth on my own by doing a lot of research on different databases. And I will just talk a lot about how there are spectral types of stars, because the stars, like, once they uh, are emitted from the nebula, they are like dark blue, and then they turn, and then they transition into being lighter blue, and then into white, and then into yellow, and then into red. And they also increase in size, like from a dwarf blue to like a giant red, and
Hmm.
then it explodes. Like our song is going to turn into a giant red, for instance. That's in millions of years from now. And I had that interest. I also had interest in taxonomy, like animals, how animals are classified. Like Felis catus is the scientific name of the cat, or Canis lupus is the scientific name of the dog. And I know that. For instance, like even though we call felines with an N, like to lions, and lions as well as cowgors, and cowgors are actually members of the subfamily Felinae, but lions are members of the subfamily Pantherae. Therefore, they are not actually felines; they are felids with a D, because Felidae is the family where they belong to. So I knew I was something that I was studying, how animals were classified genetically and related to one another. And I will just speak about these things that just I will go on and on and on and attract ridicule from people, because people would think, oh my God, this weirdo, this guy's weird, you know? And then I will get mad. I will tell them, shut up, I'm not weird. Shut up, stop insulting me. And then I will get into confrontations. They will make fun of my accent or something about my hair. They say that I look like Dora the Explorer when I was in third grade. And so I grabbed like a notebook and started hitting a boy with the notebook, because he was saying that I looked like Dora the Explorer.
Yeah.
And I was mad, because actually I'm transgender female to male, for people who didn't know that. And probably people are going to harass me in the server about that shit now. And I give them this.
Yeah, me too.
For,
Fuck it. I agree.
yeah,
I think we're all cool.
yeah,
Everybody's a cool
yeah.
person regardless of that. But
Yeah, I was just a very eccentric person,
mhm.
and I will always fight with the boys, even though I was supposed to be a girl, and I wasn't, even though I wasn't masculine in the sense that I was very sensitive. Like I will get offended and irritated very easily by things that people will say, like people harming animals, or saying cruel things to each other. I was also not very soft. I was very kind of like a mad scientist kind of person always, like, and that is usually more of a male archetype. And um I like when I used this like notebook to hit this boy, and and then I got taken to the principal office, and I was like, I just don't want to be compared to that like fat round face person, because I'm not fat, and my face isn't like an inverted oval, and I don't like the way she looks like. You know, she just didn't fit my aesthetic ideals, and I was offended by being called that. And Dora the Explorer, because of my haircut, basically had like the bangs and the hair. That was just a haircut that I
Oh
had.
yeah, I used to love that show, so I know what you're talking about. I don't really see
Yeah,
the result. No, because I see what you mean. It's like it is kind of it's not really on base. I think what they're trying to do, and this is kind of off of the typing session, but I think our viewers would probably like it too. She literally is like kind of if you see a person has a real fat head, that's what she's kind of supposed to be emulating. I don't really see the comparison that much, but
yeah,
it's
my haircut. It was a haircut that I had with the bangs
yeah.
and the bob hair, and so I got mad, and then I hit them with the notebook, and then people started, and then over time we developed like a like kind of like a rivalry. We will always like have insult battles, and then I will end up being like, I will end up saying something that uh, that attracted a lot of attention, and somehow teachers would get mad at me, and then I would start like um, getting aggressive towards the teachers for trying to discipline me, and then I
Yeah.
would start like tearing up and feeling very self-conscious about everything, about how people were giving me too much attention, even though I was just defending myself in my mind. Like I would defend myself too aggressively, and then it was too late, and I would start like tearing up, and then people would start comparing me to the creature La Llorona. You know La Llorona, right? Because of how like La Llorona, like the moaner, like moaning Myrtle, kind of. Is it La
Sure.
Llorona is like, I don't know if you know. It's like a Mexican mythology. It's like a Llorona is like a, it's like a haunting female, like hysterical witch kind of creature that will, that kind of like wails and shit like that. Because that's how I will scream when people will punish me.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And I will say that I wanted to kill them. Like I would like, I was that kind of kid. I was that kid. I would tell people I want to kill you. I want, you know, I was like that. Like, and yeah, um when I changed schools like 5 times because of bullying, because of how eccentric and different I was, and how much I would stand out. And and then yeah, once I turned uh 12, I became a lot more mellow. Like I wasn't as out there, you know, as I used to be when I was a kid. I started to mellow down and become depressed, and a lot of people thought I was emo, um, because I was listening to a lot of like, I discovered metal through the internet, because a lot of the music around me was just cumbia, reggaeton, cumbia, and all of that trashy music that just made my ears bleed
Yeah.
red, bleed like just blubbing red. I just wanted something that actually I could, some music that I could actually enjoy. And once I discovered metal music, and at that time I wasn't even aware of the more obscure subgenres that are just so beautiful and so well elaborated musically speaking. But uh, I discovered myself through the different metal subgenres even as as an adolescent, and because that was a difficult time for me, I discovered black metal as well, and depressive suicidal black metal as well, and a lot of like and because I was bullied a lot because of how different I was, like because I will just like overreact to things, and people would just like compare me to something, or um even though I had the best grades at school, despite being so you know, uh like so like misbehaved, or not necessarily mischievous as in a, like, but more like disruptive. I was very disruptive as a kid, and I still had good grades. Like I would talk too much, or I would raise my hand and or start talking about something that wasn't related to the class, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just was, yeah, an oddball, let's say. And I always had shame about it. I always wanted to fit myself, not to fit in, but to become someone respectable, someone that people will take seriously. You know, I
Hmm.
wanted to be taken seriously. I wanted to be taken, to be respected, to be admired. I didn't want to be pitied. I didn't want to be a lol cow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I will say and claim things. Like for instance, there was a phase in my life where I will ask, "Are you an otaku?" Like to any random person. Like it was so socially awkward. I would tell them, "Hello, do you like anime? Hello, do you like anime?" Oh my god, that was when I was 11, 12. And yeah, I was obsessed with anime back then when I was, and that's everything I will talk about. So yeah, I was not very socially like, it's like I was I was not very socially conscious or aware. Like I think I have Asperger's syndrome as well, very mildly so. Like, so I'm in the autism spectrum probably, which is why I have those fixations, like the taxonomy thing I told you about, like genus, species, families, like about the like, and um, yeah, well, that's basically my life as a child before I turned 13, because that's when things and then as an adolescent, I'm explaining the transition when I became why I became depressed. It's because I had no friends really, as in I had always my small group of friends, but I will always drop it because I changed school so many times, because I always felt like I didn't want to come back to the same school, because going to school was like torture to me, since kids will just, like, I don't know, being judged by people in an awful way, or people criticizing my personality, or people mocking me, or people sliding me, or people doing tricks on me and trying to humiliate me has always been something that triggers me. And that's why I did hide. I did become depressed eventually, and at that time I cut my hair short. It used to be very long, and I started to experience a lot of gender dysphoria as well, because I didn't see that, because a lot of women were expected to be voluptuous, curvy, and girly, and I saw a lot of that caregiving, motherly, like, essence in women is starting to emerge, and in me, I feel like if I ever had a child, I would abuse them. To be honest, I feel like I'm too, like, I'm not fit to be someone that can raise a family. I feel like I am just, and so I just didn't, like, feel like I belonged into womanhood. I feel like, and when I will see like it's like people like Aleister Crowley, like, or even the singer Ozzy Osbourne, I could kind of more relate to people like them than to women.
Cool.
You know, kind of like the eccentric rock star type. Even though I didn't know how to play the guitar back then, we were poor. But eventually, I mean, I have one now. I'm not that great yet, but I do art. So I'm doing something, that is art, that is creative in that way. And yeah, and then we moved to the United States when I was 14 out of nowhere, and I joined ROTC because I needed some order in my life, because I thought that I needed some order, I needed some discipline so that I could become somebody that people could respect. That was always a theme in my life, that I wanted to become somebody that people could respect. And because, well, I just saw them one day doing their military march and grabbing the rifles and doing that, and spinning them, tossing them uh, to one another, and then, like, just grabbing them in sophisticated ways. And I thought that I wanted to form part of that, because it was like a choreography. It was very beautiful and very the synchronicity of it and everything. It just felt perfect. And I joined ROTC. I had to do all of these push-ups. I had to do, like, run a mile, uh, like 3 times a week. Like, some days I would even vomit. Can you believe that? I had to cut my hair short. I couldn't even be artistic anymore. I couldn't have, like, I sacrificed everything because I was like Giancarlo. I hate myself. I want to start from zero. I want to put some order here. Let's, like, delete everything that I was and start anew. Destroy it all and start anew, reconstruct myself. And for that, I needed to learn English too, because my English was terrible when I first arrived to the United States. My English was awful. And besides doing ROTC, I had the best grades. In high school, I told myself, I'm going to get the, and I got, and something I remember very clearly is that when I was in regular classes, there were a lot of, like, kids that remind me of Discord. They were all, like, goofing around and chit-chatting and being non-serious and being vapid. And I hated, detested being around them. I wanted to be with the higher, like, students that were more serious, that actually had aspirations and ambition. You know, I wanted to be part of the elite, let's say, even though it's not as cringy as it sounds. And I actually don't really like snobbish like vapid people in that sense. It's kind of like I'm open as a person, but I don't like people who are too, you know what I mean? I like people who have more class, who have more respect and like who are more civil to one another. I don't like the like trashy people. I don't like trashiness.
Okay.
And so um, I went from being in the regular classes to AP by the time I was a junior. And I was having straight A's in all my classes. And I was always until 5 p.m. practicing drill, even though I never made a team because I just wasn't coordinated enough to make it into the team. And that was always a pain in me that I didn't have as many medals as the other students had.
Okay.
I could never like just integrate myself in the group and be notorious. I was always behind, even though I had the best grades, and I was always like slurping so much monster drink so that I could complete all my AP homework.
Okay.
That was basically it. Yeah, that's my life. And then I got into UC Berkeley. Surprisingly so, because I studied so much for that damn SAT, and I got like a 40/40 and I graduated. Yeah,
Sorry, I
in the
apologize for that.
you're in the top 5% of my class. I think top. I don't know if I reached top 1%, but I was very close to top 1% of my class.
That's good.
So yeah, that's who I was because I wanted to prove to myself that I can be respected. You know, I wanted to be respected because I all my life felt like people just saw me as a lol cow, and that all of my talent and all of my eccentricities, my idiosyncrasies, they just were going to go nowhere. And then what happened was that my hedonism exploded again once I was in college. And in college, I realized that when I was 19, that I was just lonely, no social skills. I didn't know how to club. I didn't know how to do how to live. You know, because I was so focused on proving myself that my own worth. And so, what I just decided to do one day because I was horny is going on Tinder. Wait, hold on. I think I wait. Let me recap first because I'm skipping some parts. So first, during the pandemic, I um, dropped out of Berkeley because I was depressed, so depressed that I had to be hospitalized because I didn't have any social life and because I didn't really like the people and because I felt too awkward, too like I just didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. Most people were too gentrified, and I didn't know how to drive. And because I was so suffocating in classwork, I didn't have like I just couldn't, and I didn't have a relationship either. I wanted to date someone, and my sexuality was all confused because I didn't want to admit to myself that I'm attracted to men now that I have transitioned as a man because that would invalidate me in the eyes of people that just want to be heteronormative. You know, I'm supposed to date a girl now. And I did have some girls that wanted to date me, but I just didn't feel like I was what they expected, you know. I will be too much, I will be too emotional, I will be too cantankerous, too grouchy, too temperamental, and they will just run from me. That was I expected to be a pain to them. And I was always lonely, basically. Very lonely. And always doing my homework, always on my computer on these Discord communities, trying to find myself or not. I knew who I was, but trying to find why I am so dysfunctional. Why am I like this? You know, why am I this way? Why? And that was my life until I dropped out because I was hospitalized twice. I actually did threaten to commit suicide when I got kicked out of an online community because I was in love with someone there, a YouTuber, Pierre So, I think he is now, and yeah, it's so weird how I didn't want to admit it to myself for so long, until like I really kind of, it just kind of exploded on my face. I was like, this person is everything I think about. This person is everything for me. Like, I just can't get him out of my head. If even if I try, I have dreams. I grab my pillow and it's him. I think I pretend the pillow is him. I can't help it. I do weird things to myself thinking about him. I just can't fucking help it. And I had to come to terms with the fact that I'm attracted to men as well, because I did have those feelings towards women. I don't know why my feelings are so ghost, but towards men, my feelings tend to be a little bit more violent. Perhaps they have to do with my, I don't know why, but it's a particularity about me. But yeah, we're in this time where I'm exploring my emotions and being lonely. And when I dropped out, I was just working at the kitchen for a while at the Red Lobster, and then I applied for readmission. And when I applied for readmission, I started smoking, and I just started clubbing, and I started having sex on Tinder a lot. When I came back to college, I was 20 at the time, and on Tinder, I met my current partner, like, because we just had a very good chemistry. Like, I just met him, and he was kind of like this Mexican, like, sort of mellow, depressed dude that had like many plants, and I smoke weed, and he was into philosophy. He told me that he was reading a lot of Sigmund Freud's work, and that he saw a lot of penis envy in me, from what I will describe, and uh, that he also saw that. And I told him that uh, it was a complex conversation, but the conclusion was that I am like that. I kind of wanted some form of superiority over people that wanted to put me in my place, some form of superiority or notoriety. And we ended up having sex and for hours, several hours. And then I would just hug him, and it felt so nurturing. Like, he was such a nurturing person. He was so gentle and so sweet. And I used like, and I started calling. I don't know why. I know it's gonna sound so weird. Like, people are gonna. I'm definitely gonna have to like just either leave the server or something. But
No,
people,
don't say
but
that. You're fine.
like, I don't know. But anyways, I'm not gonna say it. But yeah, there
Yeah,
were
just
things
whatever
that
you're comfortable with. Totally, by the way.
I don't wanna say what I told him. But yeah,
Yeah.
we just bonded very well. Let's just say we bonded very well.
Yeah.
And then after that, I just kept smoking, and I was like going to his house every other day, and so my classes weren't doing that good. My grades were starting to suffer. Like, and I hated my major. I hated the people in my department because they were a bunch of PC culture, like gentrified little uh like hipster, like playing kind of people. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, do you know that gentrified, like hate is never okay sort of people. Hate is never okay. Love trumps hate. All of that. All of those, like, mottos. And I just hated being in college. So I dropped out again, and that's why I'm back here. Because, and also the finances. I saw, like, I will go into my Cal Central, and I will see the amount of money that I'm in debt on, and I will be like, oh my god, oh my god, my parents, they're gonna have to pay for this. I still depend on them. And while I depend on my parents, I will never be able to fully, like, live out my life. Is hypocritical. They're going to finance, because I am like, I explore so many, like, occult, like, um I explore so many occult adjacent texts. I don't want to call myself an occultist or an expert by any means of the word, because I'm not. And I know that many people who might be watching might even hate me because I haven't really explained in depth some of my knowledge about different esoteric systems. For instance, like Andreas, like there is a I could, because but it will make the video too long. But I think I might do so actually, so that way people can't really criticize or say that I'm LARPing or anything like that. So there's like basically there is this philosopher from Sweden who has like um, condensed all of the Eastern spirituality schools or schools of thought into timeless principles and into what he calls his own teaching, which is timeless education. His name is Andreas Carlund, and I have read his work. And in his work, basically, there are three principles. Um, there are three. There no, it comes from a formula of alpha, chi, omega, which has to do with like interconnectivity. Uh, interconnectivity. Um, and interdependency, which is that like everything is connected, everything is like a feedback loop, like one thing is making another thing possible, we depend interdependency. And then the other principle was that um hold on, let me think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
it
all
was
good.
like yeah, it's like interconnectivity, interpersonality, and non-attachment, and the principle of non-attachment, which is to be the inner observer, has to do with perceiving the world as an entity that is seeking to understand things for what they truly are without really judging or saying that they should be one way or another, in which will increase receptivity. And oh my gosh, I think my camera got frozen. So
And I can see you
um,
perfectly fine, by the way, so just continue.
yeah, and so his system includes a typology that is called energy bias, in which is follows the law of three times three, because there are three centers which have to do that. The first center is the sapientian center, which is the center of has to do with conceptualization, dissemination of ideas, non-conventionality, escapism, mental escapism, and the mental fantastical realm, which is the man in esoteric terms. And then we have the gradum sphere, which is the woman, which gradum comes is like a Latinized form of saying social graces, which is the glue that connects physical reality and metaphysical reality. And in the Morem sphere, Morem is basically the physical vital realm, which has to do with concrete action, with getting things done, basic needs of the body like food, comfort, sets, and all of that. And in the gradum sphere, we have social graces, social hierarchies, social norms, and all of these things. And so when you have these three spheres, then you can have a reflection of one sphere in another sphere. So in the sapientian sphere, if you reflect the social sphere, which is centered on the limbic system, by the way, I forgot to say this, that the sapientian sphere is centered on the cerebral cortex. The gradum sphere is centered on the limbic system, and then the morem sphere is centered on the brainstem, on the brainstem. And so um, some people, yeah, that's basically like how it is. And the analogy is the man, the woman, and the child, because the knowledge is implanted into those who will promote it, so that it can be executed into action, into something that is physical and exists in physical reality, which is the child, the product. So the original ideas, the promotion of the ideas, proliferation, because in his model, basically, people who are sapientian, like many philosophers belong to his three sapientian subcategories. Um, then they are taught in schools by, and then enforced by, people who are gradum types. and then more M types will execute those higher principles into action. That's basically how it works. It's like a, I don't know, but yeah, that's one of the esoteric things that I've learned. So yeah, for like from Andreas Carlund, if you want to learn his like it from his own words, because right now I'm tired, so I'm not explaining myself as well as I could.
Okay.
Anyways, continuing on.
That did bring me to a quick question I could ask kind of towards the end of that. Why you said earlier and kind of just, the proof's in the pudding. You're up pretty late. I'm up pretty late too. So like why do you said you're kind of a night owl, so why do you stay up late?
Because my mind just keeps going on and on and on and on and on, and I just can't sleep, dude.
Okay.
I have that issue where I can't relax or I can't easily just sleep. And when I sleep too much. I sleep too much. I hate myself because I'm not doing anything with my life. You know what I mean? I get
Yes.
that sense I'm not doing anything with my life.
Okay, let's see. Okay. All right, so now we will move on to the next question. And I really do, so for anybody watching this, like basically my question, it's like the answer you gave me was so wonderful. I think the fact that it was a very like, you covered all the bases. I basically just saying that I do appreciate how in-depth you went to that one. I feel like that really gave me a strong lead. And now, because I'm always big on transparency, I feel as though there's pretty much two types it could be, and a lot of that is just going to be kind of like my tricky but also transparent way of figuring out which one of those you're going to be. But that answer was fucking good. Nice. I genuinely appreciate that. Um, let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my next question: what do you think about like typology in general? Perhaps you could give me a like what do you think of the community or even the theory itself or both?
Okay, first about the people, I think that the people are. Oh my god, I don't know. Most of them are just peanut brained, small. I'm not talking about you, by the way. I'm talking
I
about
wouldn't. Yeah,
people.
I don't think I'm not one of
I'm
the
not even talking about theorists. I'm not even talking about theorists. I'm talking about people who just want to put people
peanut
into a
gallery.
specific
Yeah.
spots and like I'm like I think like I'm not talking even about types. I'm talking about gender norms. You know, there's this obsession with masculinity that goes on into in many of these people's like way of thinking. Where if you are a man and you are an ectomorph, you're supposed to be submissive and you need a dominant woman. And I'm like, what? My dad is an ectomorph, very ectomorphic, and he is an inventor type. He is an IEE in Socionics, according to this, and any like he's an ideas person. And he's a sapientian typing and like that other typology. And my mom, she is an MBTI ISFJ. She's like an normie, like Enneagram 9, sits to kind of um like every woman. She's like the female equivalent of an everyman. Very calm, like keeps to herself, religious, Christian, traditional values. She likes to dress feminine, but not sexual at all. Not sexual. Just, that's usually what you get to see. Not is like I don't understand why you will think that just because a man is skinny, he's going to have to either end up like I don't know why these people have this view of women as either like this voluptuous horse or like or this ugly I don't know um feminists who like put dye on their hairs over here. You know what I mean? I don't know why these men have this skewed view of women, but I see that a lot, and I think that they are all scum and that they all are peanut brain for not being able to just conceive women as just people who just have different genitalia
Yeah. I get
in
it.
most cases. But that discourse of masculinity and the red pill and Andrew Tate, I think that all of those should like if I could put them all in concentration camps, I would.
Yeah. The okay. So let's see. I was gonna ask too the let me make sure I got everything out of that question. Yeah. Okay. So you talked about your taste in music is more or less you prefer metal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's actually awesome because I really like metal as well. It's probably like my favorite or second favorite genre of music. So what do you get out of metal, first and foremost? And you can be as broad as you want about that.
Mm, Metal gets my psychological inner fabrics just just kind of vibrating. Just it's kind of like fuel, you know. It's like the gasoline to me being a car. If I am a car, metal is my gasoline. Basically, it's my fuel. It fuels my it gives me a force of life,
Okay.
basically. And and it depends on the subgenre because metal is very diverse.
Hmm.
Like when you have like Zatster with an Zatster
Yeah,
with
the black metal band.
it's a black metal band. It's atmospheric black metal. I use it when I'm pondering about my own
Hmm.
emotions and about situation, and when I want to be existential. And whenever I want to be hyper and I want to be productive and I want to feel good, I go to Motley Crue or I go to Mago de Oz or I go to uh, Stratovarius, which is a power metal band, or I go to Sonata Arctica. There are so many other ones that I've listened to, and um, I just listen to the song, and even them they have their own diversity because Sonata Arctica has this song named "Shy" that is very melancholic, and it also has other songs that are very hyper, you know.
Hmm.
So it just kind of creates a mood and like a landscape in my mind, and it gets my creativity going basically.
Okay.
And and like Typo Negative is another great band that I like. Typo Negative because I am also into a lot of dark wave music. You know, gothic. Like there's also something called gothic metal. Like I know I was in Billy Ballow's concert, who is the singer of the band, His Infernal Majesty, which is like he calls his band love metal, but it's gothic metal technically.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
and yeah, yeah, but I don't know. I really I have a very developed taste of music and many bands that I use. I don't know. For me, music is everything.
That's good. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really. I that's okay.
I
So
also corny sometimes, dude. I don't know. I don't know. I just yeah.
the I was gonna ask because it kind of like with that you were saying why you like metal. I always like to tie myself into these interviews too because I think a lot of flaw I've noticed with a lot of typists they're just kind of like okay they're just like a board they're as interesting as cardboard. I think I'm far more interesting, so I'm gonna ask you a question for me, but it's for a reason. It's for the type. What genre of metal do you think I enjoy most? Because that's kind of something we could play with, and just you don't. I don't think you know me too well, but just based off of our interactions, I'm curious. Because me saying that I do like metal for sure. Maybe give me a top two or three genres that you feel like I most enjoy. I'm just curious, and a why.
Oh, top. Okay, and a why? Okay, let's see. For King Hyena, let me put um thrash metal, speed metal, and what would you call thrash metal, speed metal, and I don't know what subgenre would you consider Pantera to be. Do you
Groove
like
metal,
Pantera?
groove. Yeah,
Groove metal.
I.
Yeah, groove metal.
Okay, so thrash metal, groove metal, and then what was
Speed
the
metal.
speed metal?
Speed metal. Yeah.
Cool. Let's see if that's accurate. I do like thrash metal a lot. I really don't like Pantera very much. I like neoclassical metal a lot if you're familiar with that.
Classical. Oh yeah,
Neoclassical,
I know that.
yeah. Like Yngwie
I was
Malmsteen and
thinking
stuff.
that you like music that's more. Yeah. I yeah. I was thinking like I don't know why you seem chill to me. I don't know,
Okay.
but maybe you're not. I don't know what your opinion is about that.
Well, that's actually funny because the next question I was going to say, what do you think about me based on our interactions too? So I could include that too. You said you
I think
seem
that
chill.
you seem like a very curious person that likes to get things going, but sometimes you kind of get humps about like the logistics. I kind of feel you. I could see you like kind of, oh my god, this thing, like. And you also are very polite, very social, very sociable, very extroverted, but polite, a
Hmm.
polite extrovert, and I really like that extrovert. But you also can be very hyper sometimes. That's hyena, That's, I mean, it comes from some. Yeah, I think you're a fun guy in many ways. It seems that you like to have
Thank
fun, you
you.
like to socialize on Discord, and you like to be intellectual. And you're not a spurg. You're more mature than many of these people,
I
which is an
appreciate that.
achievement. Yeah,
You know, almost everybody would tell you that you're crazy for saying that, but I do think I'm very professional and mature. But I just think that maybe some of the other people that aren't are kind of like. Hmm. But anyway, that's for another day. Maybe we could do a rant video at some point, you and me on YouTube. But
oh my God. Yeah, no, I feel like I don't know why people in groups become so nasty to one another, but in one on one they are so much like I don't know. I mean, that's the case for you. I don't know about other people, but with Sid, my experience has been very negative. I mean, oh, sorry.
let's see. Okay. All right.
Yeah, wasn't supposed to say that.
I didn't even really hear what you said, honestly. I heard the word negative, so you're more than free to talk about.
Sid,
Oh, yeah.
Sid.
You can literally say anything you want on here. That is why I get frustrated too. I'll do a little bit more of a rant and then we'll go on to the next question. Dude, it is insane that a lot of these typists on here, like if you say one thing, they're like, well, actually, blah blah blah. It's like I get banned from a lot of servers by being I self-type SEE. So that's just with the territory. I'm going to be very crazy sometimes, but it's not like of a if it's a place of like morality and stuff, I think I'm a good person, but it's just they don't get it, so they tell me to be one way, and I'm like, if you want to actually accurately type me, because a lot of them are like, they're like, okay, bye, if I am the way I am, and if I don't act that way, they're like, oh, he's clearly not SE based or something like that. I don't get too fixated on it, because again, I think I'm dipolar. I don't truly give a fuck, but that's for another day. That is truly for another fucking day. But let's move on to the next
Mm-hmm,
question. Uh.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so I guess just I'll ask you on this one. Actually, keep this one brief. It's for a reason. What is like your favorite movie and why? I could you could even do a television show too if you're not a big movie guy.
Silence of the Lambs,
Oh, cool.
because
Yeah.
I find Hannibal Lecter and Anthony Hopkins acting there very brilliant.
Okay. Let's see. Acting. Okay. Okay. If you bear with me for 1 second, I just want to type something. Probably give me like 15 seconds, and I'll be on to the next question. Because I did ask you to keep that one brief, and you kept it brief, and that actually helps with the typing even more. So let's see. Okay. Okay. Alright, like 5 more seconds. Alright, just doing some quick, like, fixing this typo. Alright, wonderful. Alright, so, hmm. Do you have any sort of, like, I guess outside of the US, outside of stuff that actually affects you immediately, do you have any sort of really important, like, societal or political issues to you that happen overseas?
That happen overseas. I mean, I know that in Peru,
Or it could be, like, yeah,
communist
South America, just not in USA. Sorry.
Peru,
Uh-huh.
I know that the president is an idiot. My parents constantly rant about Pedro Castillo, who was elected as president of Peru. And one of my concerns in Peru is that Peruvian people don't really understand how sexual expression can be compatible with society that is functional and that is sustainable, because they associate sex with pregnancy immediately. They don't even like have enough education about how to use like contraceptives, or that you can like have high school, like they will be blown away by the fact that in the United States of America women go to high school in the crop tops, because in Peru, like people are very prudish because they want to avoid teenage pregnancies because they cause poverty. And I mean, that was my impression back in 2014, 2013. Maybe things have changed, but from what I know, most still to this day, most Peruvian schools still have uniforms, and those uniforms are there for a reason, to avoid women dressing in ways that are too suggestive or sexual. And I think that men should be taught that they need to master self-control. And accountability is another value, accountability. Like if you have sex unprotectedly, you
Yeah.
know the consequences. And so you need to know how to use protection. And I think that is the responsibility of the government to teach the young people there to do that. And it's sad that they blame LGBT people as like for trying to impose a gender ideology onto their children or whatever. Like I know that no a la ideología de género. I've heard that shit in Peru a lot. Like gender ideology, hatred, and it was like actually what's happening in the U.S. now was happening in Peru
I see.
before,
Okay.
the years before, about that sort of scapegoating trans people.
Okay. Okay, 1 second. All right. All right, give me like 5 more seconds. Let's see. All right. Possibility. Wonderful. Okay. If you could move anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
France,
Okay.
France, because there's my favorite artist is from France, and I feel like I think that there are many opportunities to thrive as an artist and as um, individualist in person if you live in France, as an intellectual person with a refined taste in different things. Yeah.
Okay.
But the language will be kind of, I mean, sure, I can learn French. It will just take a while.
Okay. Nice. Um, I think we're nearing the end of the session at least. We have maybe 3 or 4 more questions left.
Hmm.
I'm pretty confident where like, it was tricky at first. I actually went from one type to another. It was like, I mean, from the first section, and we'll talk about that later. I don't want to skew any of the results, but just to let you know, I'm like, this is very much, this has probably been one of my favorite typings I've done thus far.
Hmm.
Mm, okay. Let me just. Okay, we'll put that one right there. Sorry, I just do my questions in kind of an interesting way. So, there we go. Boom. All right. Or wait a minute. Oh, crap. I actually screwed something up. I apologize. Mm, okay. Okay. All right, yeah. So we have about 3 more questions left. Um,
Okay.
what would you say is the worst thing that somebody has done to you ever? And if it's something that you don't want to talk about publicly, then just second worst and third, just whichever is the worst that you feel comfortable telling me about and kind of detail to me the situation.
Um, I remember when, like, I want to say second worst because I was going to say something else, but I just don't feel comfortable saying it. So my when my ROTC instructor, wait, no, hold on. Actually, that one isn't that bad. Hold on, let me think about it for a moment.
Yeah, you can take all the time you need, genuinely. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'll probably take a sip of my drink and just make sure I got all my, all this stuff around. But you take your time, man.
Worst thing someone has done to me. Oh yeah, I remember now.
I'm listening, by the way. Give me a sec. Sorry, let me.
So once I was in a Discord server talking to my friend. We were arguing because I didn't like her behavior regarding, how she
Sorry.
was addressing me and how I wasn't able to collaborate in the typing endeavors in that community, and was I felt ostracized, and I felt that she was sliding me and treating me horribly, and I got banned from that server by Jordi, who was the moderator of that server, and when Jordi banned me from that server, I was unable to continue communication with her, and I thought that she was going to block me and abandon me. Basically, I think I have some borderline traits, and then he started to call me a lol cow, and because I was writing on caps that I needed to speak to her. Why the fuck did you ban me? Why the fuck did you, like, she's my friend? I need to speak to her. Why the fuck did you do that? And then he started saying that I am like, he was like, it was a very private conversation, and he was like screen sharing with other people on his server to make fun of me and to laugh, and they were all laughing at our exchange. And I got so mad that I started, like, out of rage, I grabbed a glass and I started cutting my legs, and I sent him a gore picture, actually. Like, it was, I went onto the deep web and I found like this person that was, whose face was removed, and there were like the balls and the dick. They're from the cartel, that's, and I sent him a picture of that.
Hmm.
I sent him gore, and then I sent him a picture of my legs, like with blood on them. I said, "Look at what you have done to me. I hate you." And he was, because for and yeah, that basically is the worst thing that he did to me, was humiliate me like that and make me out to be a lol cow,
Hmm.
because and ruin my relationship with someone that I have known for many years, and that we were just having a bad moment, and he just kind of interjected. And then once I got mad reasonably, he started to provoke me, and then like share that with other people to bully me.
Okay. All right. I mean, that does more align with what I was going with too. It's just a really fucked up story. I was just like, damn, in my server, I was like, I would never do that. But anyway, um, would you say that you felt like after you did that, after you sent him the gore pictures or
The
the
picture,
just everything? Yeah, after you sent him all that stuff, how did you feel? Do you feel like you won in that situation, or do you still feel like did you still feel bad?
I still felt awful, and I felt like I lost. But like later on, I went onto another server and I started talking shit and ruining his reputation. And later on, actually, this same girl that was my friend, that was like basically siding more with him, with Jordi. Like, she had sent a nude of herself to Jordi when she was horny and drunk, and then Jordi leaked it to his friends. And Blaziken was one of his friends at the time, and she's a good person, but like, she didn't even know like that it was without her permission. And Jordi did that, and then she got so fucking pissed off that that she called me, and she wanted to destroy Jordi. And then we teamed, and then what I did is I knew that there was this like um, psychology redefined server. I don't know if you know Ragnar, or like Ragnar,
Mhm.
like
I mean, I don't know him personally, but
Michael.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, yeah. like Michael, he got this server called Psychology Redefined, and I knew that that server was filled with ASPD people. And I was like, I'm going to befriend one of these people, one of these ASPD guys. And I met Aaron, the infamous Aaron. That's how I met him. And I go, okay, Aaron is going to be, he's going to destroy Jordi. And then we told him the story of Jordi had leaked her nudes without her permission, and how he was a narcissist and all the horrible things that he did to us. And we just like dots him and did like a lot of other stuff like that. Like I don't know what other like ratting. Yeah, we ratted him. I think we tried to rat him as well. Yeah, but yeah, that's what happened. Basically, that's how it ended.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, with Jordi because he fucked with us. Like and he, and she eventually. So I did win in the end, even though that battle was lost. I won the war, even though I lost the battle. Like,
Nice. Um,
yeah.
okay. So let me ask, I have two more questions for you actually. And it's real, I think that one, honestly, if anything, that one really sealed it, but just I don't want to cut your session short, even though I have these ones ready. So I will ask these, but I'm pretty sure what I think your type is. What are, name like all the hobbies you have. It can be as small as I like to pick my scabs off my skin to as large as I have played violin since I was 2 years old. You know, it's just whatever hobby.
Working out.
Working out.
I like working out. I also, I mean, art is my career, so I can't really say that. I mean, being on Discord is a hobby. Typology, like the Enneagram, is a great hobby of mine. The Enneagram, and um, energy bias psychology, and which is the Andreas Carlon's own typology that I was talking to you about before, and his channel, and doing research to make his typology more robust, which is something that where Alexander is participating on too, and it's something interesting, and like yeah, just those things basically, and um, I think probably yeah. So doing typology research basically is one of my biggest hobbies, like with Enneagram and working out and I don't know, watching like horror films. Yeah, let's leave it there.
Sure. Okay. So let's see, watching horror films as well. One moment. Okay, so out of all of those, if you had to pick one to keep and all the rest you could never do again, what would the one you keep be?
I will never do again.
And I will
Oh
say
my
real quick,
god.
I did list art as one of the hobbies, even though you said that is not a hobby, and I made that clear. So that's up for you to determine if you want to keep art and choose that as a hobby, or just exclude that and do the ones you said are 100% hobbies.
Sure, keep it there because it's my career. But sure. Uh, that I could like delete. Probably will stop watching horror films. Like I will just kind of like use my own imagination and my own writing and my own like I don't know, man. I mean, YouTube. I mean, I don't know if like watching Ed Gein documentaries like on YouTube or psychoanalysis counts as a horror film.
Okay. So you're saying that's what, if I understand correctly, you're saying you would omit the horror film watching, or you would have that be the one you keep? Because I was asking which one you would keep.
I will delete that one. Yeah, I would
Okay.
have made that one.
Okay. So which one would you keep, leaving the typology systems, Enneagram, and working out and art too, I guess?
Uh, Typology. I'm sorry.
That's your number one, or you would delete that?
Yeah,
Okay. Cool.
I mean my number one. My number one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the Enneagram research that I do,
One.
and with the other typology as well.
Let's see. Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got that, and we're at your last question. And this one really doesn't have that much bearing comparatively to the other questions. It's just kind of for continuity. I always ask this.
Okay.
If you had to get a tattoo, I don't know if you have tattoos or not currently, but if you had to get a tattoo currently, and it could either be a symbol or a word, what would it be and why?
Snake, and I will put it on my arm because it just reminds me of Orochimaru, and Orochimaru is a character I can relate to a lot.
Okay, let's see.
Orochimaru, yeah.
Yeah, that's from Naruto. Orochimaru. All right. So if that's your final part of that answer, I do have your type for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. And I have also too, I give everybody the option to do this if they like, but they don't have to. Would you like to guess what you think I'm going to type you? I have it all typed out on my end, so I'm not just going to be like, yeah, you say this, I'll give you this type. I'm just curious.
You're gonna probably gonna type me the same thing that Jack Oliver Aaron typed me, which is EIE.
Yep. Yep, I actually did type you EIE, but for a while I was really thinking that you were not EIE and I was thinking IEI. Um,
Uh huh.
so that's where I
Yeah. What
stand.
made?
Mhm.
Yeah. So it was between EIE and IEI, right?
That is, yeah, and like I said earlier, it was the earlier part of it. Um, I guess what I was seeing at first is I saw a lot of things that I was more like defining as earlier on your session. It seemed like it was a lot of indication of like a SE suggestive, right? So I was like, okay, I'm seeing a lot of this. I'm making me thinking that EIE is a little bit less likely. But then I started to see a lot of indication of rather TI suggestive. I think what I saw here was you very much have a proclivity towards wanting all the TI things. That is something it's clearly valued with you, TI and SE both. But with TI and you often like the structure. Like I like to give specific examples. So for me personally, there was a lot of like Mary Axis stuff going on with your wanting to join ROTC. You know, you liked how the choreography was. So for me personally, I would be like, okay, that is very showing with you that you see the structure of it. This is something you don't necessarily have the structure yourself, but you appreciate that. But then the choreography too is kind of like how that expresses in regards to emotionality. So I see that as first and foremost what you do above everything is the FE. You're very much, I feel like you would be an incredible like actor or something like that. I put multiple times in your document, which you will get. I said that you have a very natural gift for telling stories and getting me kind of invested. That's why, I mean, this is, I guess, comparatively to some of the sessions I've like, to session number 8, 7, so on and so forth. They're about 30 to 50-minute sessions. This one's a little bit longer, which is totally fine. But I was like, if you wanted to go on for like 2 hours with a lot of these, I was totally down for it. The way that you explain things is very.
Yeah. Would you say that my subtype is more like? Do you believe in subtypes or you don't believe
I
in
could
that?
now. I actually like with that. I do Model A stuff, and it's not really me trying to say I don't believe in Model G, but it's just that's what I know right now, and it does seem to be the most accurate. So I wouldn't really know exactly what subtype you would be, unfortunately. I mean, I know there's like the harmonizing, creative, and stuff like that. I don't know. Not literally not knowing what any of those mean. I don't think harmonizing would make much sense with you.
I think normalizing maybe because it's more introverted, like focus on TI.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. At least I would have to ask somebody who's more what, like perhaps Catsup, who's also my server. There's more or less an official typist in there now too. I told him that basically he can type people freely and charge and all that blah blah blah. But
Hmm.
yeah, he's more of a like perhaps he could be the Model G specialist. So obviously, if you're paying for my full package and everything, so I'm not going to say you have to pay again. But if you did want to get Model G typed by him, he seems very trustworthy, and I could kind of give him my document and everything, and have him get you at some point with the subtype specifically. But I'm pretty confident in my Model A typing of you, which is EIE. You know.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I mean, did you have any more questions or anything? I could explain a little bit further, and we still get your tarot.
You don't type people. You don't. Okay. Yeah. The tarot part. Are you gonna do that for
We can
tarot
do that. Yeah, we can
cards?
do that right now if you want. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm just telling because often people have like a lot of questions for the stuff, so I'm perfectly fine just moving on to tarot, and we could maybe talk
Yeah.
about.
Okay. Yeah. How do you see the SE mobilizing part or the TE role? Like, how do you see those two functions? I mean, I
Okay,
could ask you that question.
just the functions themselves, like how SE would be in mobilizing and how TE would be in role.
Yeah.
You're asking. Um, I will
Yeah.
say, yeah, I think that just quite frankly to look at the to compare you as an EIE to you as an IEI. Um, I was not really seeing any sort of indication, first and foremost, of TE vulnerable. That was, I think that would be you would be a little bit more. It would be a little bit more challenging for you to go about and accomplish these things. I know you said that you have your struggles and stuff like that, but it just did not seem like I very much the way I approach typology at this very moment. I don't like to necessarily gauge people off of okay, this is for sure their base because they're very good at it, and then go down. I pretty much work from weaknesses up. So I'm like, okay, is this guy's weakness really? And I'll explain the role in the mobilizing in a second. I'm getting a little long-winded, but just the I was like when I was because like I told you, at first it was the IEI looked most likely. So I was like, okay, but I don't really see TE polar that much. And then you start talking about like the I hate myself, I gotta push myself harder. It's just very much stuff that, at least my understanding of the theory, you started very much showing a lot of SI vulnerable later on. But to talk about role TE specifically, I think that what this means personally is to kind of actualize what's actually the strongest with you and what you care about, like your valued strong functions. I think that I think that the way in which you interject TE into situations is something that kind of is meant to be. How do I explain it? It's kind of like it's something that is used only sometimes, but not in the way that mobilizing would be. It's kind of like TE with you is you're using like real world practical applications of stuff to kind of when it's necessary. If I need to do this to accentuate perhaps the FE or the NI, the stuff that you're really good at. I think it's just kind of
Mm-hmm.
sometimes here, sometimes there. It's not something that's really just this fragile thing where TE would be. Because I think that's the main thing. I just did not. SI Polar was like huge with you. I know you're asking about role mobilizing. I think SE mobilizing is really showy with you too. I mean, I think that because I later on it kind of because I always just kind of like because we can recognize the EIE, the beta NFs are going to be mirrors, right? So I'm kind of like comparing them to, and they're often I find it a little hard because they're so close and like it would be SE 1D valued versus 2D so with you it's just it very much I don't think that the SE was that weak with you. I think that it was showy and kind of the stories you told me too. The mobilizing SE shows a lot. You're not always attacking people, but you tell the stories about how they were insulting you and you felt disrespect. That's a common trend I see amongst DIEs is that often they don't like to be disrespected. I have a lot of people Vi is a good friend of mine in my server. He basically is very clear EIE. I would say that he self-types as it. He is the same way. If he feels disrespected or if he feels anything like that, he is an attacker first and foremost. So it's like a 2D mobilizing over like a 1D suggestive in my opinion. And it's it's like y'all are similar people in a way with y'all don't like being disrespected. You kind of have this like very much it's not always attacking, but when you do feel wronged it's like you will carry on this path of like exacting that something you care about SE valuing. But did you have any more questions?
Mm-hmm. No, I think that will be it. I think. Yeah.
Mhm. Do you type yourself as EIE as well, or do you anything else?
I'm between EIE and IEI. I
Okay,
don't.
so
I'm
yeah,
not. Yeah.
I mean it's nice to at least know that to have two things that are pretty likely. But yeah, I mean we could talk.
I can see more of the SC now that you mentioned like everything. Yeah. Because like sometimes it was kind of hard to know what's my 8 fits and what's SC because Enneagram like wise,
Yeah,
like I've been typed professionally and I type myself as well as a 4 6 8 with. I think I have a 5 wing, but many people think I have a 3 wing. But I think I have an 8 wing 7 fits, and
hmm
sometimes it's kind of hard to know what is SC mobilized and what is like it's 8 wing 7 as a fits because I don't know if an IEI could even have an 8 wing 7 fits. You know,
yeah. Hmm. That is a good point.
like
Yeah,
I mean
it's
I don't
just
know. I mean.
I think one thing I would like to ask you before we go on to our stuff, and I think maybe like after the session, because I'm still gonna be up. If you wanted to talk a little bit more down below about the specific, like why I asked this and kind of like what led me to believe that. I don't want to tell all the YouTube people like any sort of real deep secrets about my specific questions, but I would be more than happy to go over that with you after it's recorded and
Hmm.
everything. But do you have any experience?
Yeah.
Like, do you? Because I think that duality is pretty important in socionics. So do you have any like perhaps experience with like SLEs versus like LSIs and kind of like or just any of the intertype relations really? Does that give you any lean?
Yeah. So I really like to work with SLEs in at the workplace. It's kind of like I just become more mellow, as in I kind of just like become I just become less verbal, as in I'm just reduce communication um and they just like I feel like SLEs are super like just kind of focusing on doing things to the point where they aren't really there to judge people or to have or to like create like a negative sort of like a spiteful like attitude towards other workers or shit like that. Like SLEs are more jolly than most people really like depict might think they are, and they just want to get things done. And so I'm just quiet, and they just kind of get things going. And sure, sure, you need this, okay, you need this, sure, sure. And so I had this SLE coworker was a self-press aide that had this like very bombastic, explosive anger, and I will just be there, kind of like nothing happened, kind of like it will be poker face anytime he will get mad. Oh,
Yeah.
shit happens, and I will just laugh it off and laugh and continue going. And actually, many people struggle to work with him because of his personality, because he was very aggressive and bombastic. Self-press ACIDs 30, probably something like that, like SPSO. And he wasn't really uh, he wasn't really trying to dominate other people consciously. He was just kind of being himself. It was interesting, but like the thing is that like when I and he was kind of in his 50s as well, so not very young, like see that maybe that's why he wasn't like spurging out about masculinity or whatever, because I see that a lot in immature and younger SLEs. And the manager told me that I work very well with this guy and many other people hate him, and that was something great. And another thing with LSIs, it's like hit or miss. If the LSI's worldview aligns with mine, we work very well together. I feel like with LSIs, the more intellectual variant, I can have deep respect for them, like Varg Vikernes. I don't know if you know Varg Vikernes.
Oh,
He,
Varg. Yeah.
yeah, I have deep respect for him because he just lives life under his own worldview in and he makes great music. And even though I don't agree with his the way in which he sees things like about LGBT people, the way in which he connects to his ancestors and the organic and authentic nuance in his thinking that isn't kind of like tainted by mainstream schools of thought and institutions of universities that tell you this is the way in which you have to think. He's a free thinker, and I really respect that about him.
Yeah, I mean, he got
I really
banned from
respect it.
like YouTube and Twitter and all that stuff, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm,
no shit, but
he is a free thinker.
yeah,
He is a
yeah.
free thinker to the point that he gets banned and he just keeps doing himself. He's not going to change his worldview for the sake of saving face and not getting banned. And I respect that a lot because sometimes, yeah. Oh, that knife.
I was making
Oh
a joke that
yeah,
he
yeah.
stabbed somebody like
Euronymous.
I was just playing.
I mean, Euronymous was just kind of. I mean, Bart was young. He was immature.
Yeah, it's
Like
he did
he
his
was
time. That's how
impulsive.
I view it too. It's like whatever. That doesn't
He
I
was just. He was just like. He was. He was just in his 20s, young, energetic, in a very toxic community with when people were at each other's throats, literally. Like Euronymous was this posturing kind of guy that wanted to be the dominant figure of black metal, and he was saying all this shit about how he would like tie up bark to that tree and he would
Yeah, I think
torture
it was
him to
done a
death.
lot out of paranoia too, and it's still he
Uh,
should have gone to the authorities maybe, but I
yeah,
could
he could
totally
have gone
get
to
it.
the police, but he took it on his own hands.
Yeah, so he did the time and he's free, whatever. Maybe you could maybe
Uh,
I could somehow get into contact with Varg one day and get him typed. Wouldn't that be fucking wild? But nah.
That would be wild.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
what
think you
dude.
can do it.
That's what I'm thinking is kind of like that would be really funny to go to like every single fucking like lukewarmly famous person. Like obviously not go to Logan Paul and say, "Sup, dude? Do you want to be typed and ever expect to get a response?" But a lot of these like I don't know, sort of like okay, a lot of people are into this, know this person, blah blah blah, like YouTubers or whatever have you.
Yeah.
I want them all here. I think that'd be fun. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, well, I know
Yeah.
it's probably getting it's late for me, but I'm still not tired, so I'm more than happy to discuss more with you. But just for the sake of the video, I'll go ahead and do your tarot session. This will probably
Yes. Cool.
take about like 10 or 15 minutes if you're okay with that. This is actually gonna be my first
Hmm.
official tarot session, so I'm still learning and everything. So I'm probably gonna watch this video afterwards to go over my accuracy and discuss with some people. My friend, have you met Brandon on here?
Brandon, is that Lord?
Lord, no.
No, I
Whatchamacallit?
don't know. I don't know who
Okay.
Brandon
Well,
is.
he's
No.
just one of my friends on here that's more or less got me stuck because I've had tarot for a while. I just didn't really know that much about it. So he gave me some pointers, and then I did my own research. So I'm pretty well versed in it, but I'm still learning that. But this will be the first, so this is just putting it out here.
Mhm.
It's gonna be cool. Okay. All right. So I want you to take a deep breath. All right. So the way in which I do this is going to be the first card I draw is going to be indicative of your past. The middle one is going to be your present, and then the last one is going to be your future. And like I said, I've done my research on this stuff, but it's more or less just if I'm like, I don't know, then I'm going to just intuitively, which I probably similarly to you because I think we're both in I valuing. I'm really big on like the spiritual stuff. Like this stuff is actually genuinely fascinating to me. So I'm not gonna bullshit you an answer. It's legitimately I'm gonna try to do this as respectfully as possible. But I think I will give you an accurate reading. So you ready? Okay. Shuffle the cards. And I'll kind of I guess I'll try to show this as good. I'll probably for the next video make it so I have the webcam a little bit better situated to show everybody and show you. But that's kind of the appeal is the visual of this. So like, let me move my keyboard a little bit. Okay. All right, so I shuffle it once. Shuffle it again. There's the cards, by the way. And then one more
Yeah.
shuffle, and I
I like
will.
the background.
Yeah, I think you'll like the art on these cards are really cool too.
Yeah, it looks like cool art.
Yeah, I'll explain the backstory of how I got these. Right. Oh god, I thought I almost clicked out of everything. But
Yeah.
okay. So let me shuffle these. All right. So we got your first card. And I'll let you. I think this is how I do it too. Do you want? It's not gonna be from the top card. It's not gonna be the bottom card. But you top or bottom? Just quick answer. Answer.
Bottom.
Bottom. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pick a more bottom card randomly. All right. So the first card you got was the Nine of Cups. Oops. This is
Nine of
I'll have
Cups.
to get this in a really good way to display it to all the viewers and people that want to get tarot, but I will set this aside so we can take a look at it. And the way I do this, because I have to say that because I don't want some tarot person saying that's not how you're supposed to do that. I draw one card at a time, and then I make the past assessment, draw, present, draw, and future, and that's how I do it. So I'm going to look at this Nine of Cups. So what we know about cups first and foremost, and I'll kind of have this be like an introductory based on what I was taught, at least if I remember this correctly. The cups more so is kind of like in in typology or whatever you want to call it. It's like the FE or FI. I think it's like the feeling and stuff like that. So it's really about just kind of like the emotionality and expressiveness of what's presented here. So it's kind of alongside the values. So if it's high, it could be good, that bad, but really it's far greater than Socionics, I think, the tarot stuff. So I don't like to think of it specifically like that, but cups is more not defining it like that, but it's just how you feel. You know, let's get removed from all the Socionic stuff, just how you feel. And what we see here is we have a guy that he looks like he's wearing some sort of like a circular hat, and I will definitely show you the pictures and everything. But what this makes me think is that your entire life, I think that you have been somebody, because it's a Nine of Cups again, you have been somebody that's always felt very comfortable being an expressor of sorts, not feeling too bad about how they feel, but not has you haven't. If you were perhaps the King of Cups or something like that, this would just be on lock. You would have no difficulties with it. This is to say that I think that in your past life, or kind of like through your growing phases, this suggests that you've always been pretty good at telling people, you know, you're not somebody that's like emotionally unavailable. You're not somebody that's like super duper just will never make an expressive motion. You're pretty good at it, and it's always been kind of your bread and butter. Would you say that's kind of true?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah. I think that my emotions are obvious to me, and I just like they are ready and available. People know how I feel
yeah.
mostly.
Because it's kind of, it looks like, at least because this is something else I was taught too in the picture, to kind of get the vibe of what it visually represents. And I'll see if, let me see if the best way I can show you this. So do you see what it is? It's kind probably blurry, but like, it's
Yeah, I
like,
see like a man sitting and there are cups about him.
yeah, but
Yeah.
what's really important to notice about this, and you would probably have to see it. Um, you have to, you know, I'll send you a picture right after I record this. But he has a very like, he has a smile of him that looks very certain. And I think this is kind of what all
Mhm.
ties it together, and what I love about tarot is somebody that's not overconfident and just knocking people down with their ability to feel, but there's somebody that's like, I can do this. They're confident. I think you have a confidence in your expressiveness. Is this is what it shows. You've kind of from past to present, and then we'll see what's future. That's the whole point of this. So let's move on to or present. You ready? All right.
Mhm.
Do you want it top or bottom?
Top.
Okay. We'll do kind of a top card. And the way I do that, like literally what I'm doing is just kind of fondling around with with the top cards. So I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll just pick whichever one feels the most right. This one. And what is it gonna be? I have to get my lighting. Good God, this is like, I'm like, man, struggling to read these. I have no lights on here, but we'll get that fixed. Um, the Five of Cups, another Cups one. This is what kind of not proves the legitimacy of this stuff, but kind of is interesting, because these are two things that very much the Cups is feeling. And literally you typed as like a feeling ethical base fucking Socionics type. And this is not something I made up to go along with the typing too. It's genuinely, I'm like kind of a little freaked out now. This is something that's showing the Nine of Cups, then going to the Five of Cups. So that shows a little bit of like a down. Let's see what the Five is showing. Oh, this is, I've drawn this for somebody before. Wow. So what we have here is kind of a man that's in a cape. He's in a cape. It looks like a green cape. Really nice shade. But he has cups next to him. It's the Five of the Cups. So it's kind of at a midway point. So you can see, goodness. Let me actually like see if I can, whatever. Yeah. Okay,
I don't
there's,
think I. Oh yeah, I see it.
okay, so what I want,
I see it.
you're gonna have to kind of play with me. Maybe if I do it in front, it's probably they're reflective too. It makes it
If
hard.
you remove the background, I could see it. To be
Yeah.
honest,
Okay.
if you remove the background.
Let me do it like that. I think. Okay. All right. Let me. Oh fuck! I didn't change. Hold up. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. Okay, smart. Do you see that? And it says Five of Cups.
Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, to me, what this, I think I might do it like this from here on out too. Just kind of hold the cards up. Um, but what this means for me personally is that we'll put this back. Sorry, my room's just kind of a mess. I just don't want everybody being like, what the fuck? But you saw the card and everything, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw it.
So let me make sure my recording and everything is good. Yeah, so I don't even have to have the internet up now. But my interpretation of that honestly is that perhaps over the years you've felt a little bit more uncertainty about like your expressiveness. I think you've always kind of had it on lock, but at the same time, this is kind of showing that maybe there's, you know, we often, when we go through our like adolescent years and then up to like the present, you're 21 years old. So this would be where you are now, 21 years of age, literally in your life, like, you know, just right now. So this is kind of saying maybe at this point in your life right now, you're just kind of like, I don't know, discovering the best way to express yourself. Because it's not bad. It's not necessarily saying that it's a one or two of cups, but it's kind of like in the middle per se.
Yeah,
It's
I
like a
mean, I mean, it does resonate with me right now because I was thinking that I wanted to get into songwriting and I don't know where to begin,
Mhm.
and I never get it accomplished fully. And I was thinking about maybe trying poetry out, but I haven't. I've wrote some lines, but I never got a consistency on it. I think that my mediums, yeah. So it does resonate.
Mhm. And what I
Yeah,
noticed too, like what I noticed the last time, and I'll hold it up, but if it doesn't work, I'm not gonna try to do the thing. But I'll remove the background for the last one. Oh man, I'll show you later. But there's just take my word for it. There's 3 cups that are knocked over, and there's some looks like there's liquid poured out, and then there's 2 cups standing up. So this kind of for me symbolizes that you maybe knock some of your options down in regards to your expressiveness. Maybe you would love to do everything and let everybody know exactly where you stand on stuff, whatever. But you're kind of like, maybe this isn't for me. This isn't for me either. So you knock it down. Kind
yeah,
of akin to in our typing session, how I was like, okay, pick one hobby. So you have
yeah,
these couple things that are left, and you're like, maybe it's the poetry, maybe it's the actual art or photography, maybe these parts is kind of stuff that you talked about earlier. I'm really seeing the tie-in with this kind. That's interesting. That's really fucking interesting. I love this stuff. Okay, are you ready for your future one? That's the important one.
yeah.
All right, let's take another deep breath. You ready? All right. Top or bottom?
Top.
Gotcha. What the fuck? Oh my god. That is crazy.
What did
Goodness.
I get?
Okay. Alright, let me remove the background actually. This one is called the Devil.
Oh my gosh, I love that card.
Yeah. Or wait. Okay, so you see it?
I see it.
Wow. So I think what that tells me first and foremost, I'm going to give you my take on this. Let me change the background back. We'll do this one actually. We'll do this one because we're about to, whatchamacallit, call it a wrap. Nice starry night. Okay, there we go. So with that one, the devil. I think what's funny is this is kind of going to be breaking the fourth wall a little bit, but when you pick that one, at least my interpretation, I think everybody wants to have a good future, and the fact that you picked the top card in that circumstance kind of gave us that like that essence and that oomph for it to be kind of something that I perceive this card personally is not negative. I believe that personally the devil card, it's like it's something that could seem a little bit malicious, but it's kind of a powerful maliciousness. It's the saying "fuck it," who cares what I burn down, you know? I think
Yeah,
it's truly the symbolism in it too. I mean, it shows 2 people he has chained up. It looks like a man and a female, and they're both under his control. And it just exudes a lot of hedonism in this. Honestly, it's like a hedonistic way of perhaps approaching stuff. So maybe we see the expressiveness, and then the kind of waning of it. I think that's the right word. So kind of a little bit downwards, and then this is maybe telling that your expressiveness needs to be in some sort of hedonistic facet. You just need to go all out, balls to the wall, unapologetic. That's what I would interpret that as, at
yeah.
least the
I
devil.
mean, I was wanna go clubbing. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I've
the
been
devil.
clubbing
Yeah,
like
that's
in
awesome.
god clubs and fetish clubs. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm gonna do.
There you go. Fuck it.
Yeah,
So that's what's cool about the fact. And remember, you got the. So probably the way I'll do this from here on out is I'll give people tarot sessions or the typing sessions, or they can have the $30, but then if they do everything, they get what you got. So on the back of your card, as long as I'm able to do this nicely, and I will make it happen one way or the other, these ones are going to be on the back of your card. So no matter what, the fact that you got these drawn, you're always going to have that to that to that to symbolize that. These are going to be like your cards on that card, if you will. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we're about done. That was super duper fun. Um, you got anything else to say? Anything you want to promote,
No,
or
that'll be it.
you'll need
That'll
to?
be it. Thank
Okay,
you.
sure. All right.
I will just shoot you a DM, but please respond me this DM because I want to say something about you some potential like thing that like might come up from the video because Sid, like when people discover that about me being trans female to male as opposed to male to female, like which is what most people assume when they see my name. Like I hope that whenever I'm arguing with people, if I hear "shut up, you're a woman," if I ever fucking hear that, if when someone fucking tells me that shit, I will just kill them. I'll fuck them up, dude. Like I don't
The
like being
devil.
misgendered. Like I don't know, man. But I'm
I
just
mean,
thinking
it
that Sid
suck.
is gonna
It would
do
suck.
like that. I want to punch Sid. Like I swear, that guy just pissed me off. Anyways, yeah.
Sure. All right.
I want to punch a motherfucker. Anyways, thank you.
Yeah, of course. That's everything.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
so I'm gonna just do my outro and everything. I really appreciate your time and business and everything, so I really appreciate that. But all right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Really enjoyed having Giancarlo with me. Make sure to join the link down below for Monsoon Discord. You can see on the video because I just kind of record the little things. Monsoon, join it. You can talk to me. You can get all this stuff for yourself, and get all the information from Hyena/Jonah himself. But really, thank you everybody. It's fucking 6:34, so we'll see what I decide to do now. Bye bye.